Hello there, welcoming you all in the Physics Arena by Nitish sir. It's students, in a queue of video lectures, I have already sent a lots of videos of the live classes. So today we are going to discuss about the chapter number 19 of ICSC Newton publication, that the chapter name is thermodynamics. So what do you mean by the thermodynamics? In this chapter we will discuss about the some basic terms which is related with the thermodynamics, and also we will discuss zeroth law of the thermodynamics, what is the heat, work and internal energy, and also we will discuss about the different things like the first law of thermodynamics and its application. So students, now we are going to discuss about the some basic terms which are used or which will be used for this study of the thermodynamics. So what are those basic terms? Let's start one by one. So in order to discuss about the thermodynamics, as we are knowing that, first I am going to write here that is a system. What do you mean by system? Okay, everything is already mentioned in your book, but for a glance I am going to give you the idea about each and everything. That system, what do you mean by system? System means that anything which is concerned or which is having a fixed amount of matter which enclosed within a particular surface of an object. So how we can define system? System is defined as, how we can give the definition of system? System is defined as defined as something which is concerned to a fixed amount of matter means something which is having certain amount of matter, okay, enclosed within a surface. It means that if a surface encloses certain or fixed amount of matter, that certain thing is known as the system. Whereas how we can define the surrounding? What do you mean by the surrounding, and how we can give the definition about the surrounding? Students, surrounding can be defined as everything outside of the system, everything which is outside of the system. So everything which is outside of the system, everything which is outside of the system is considered as called surrounding. It means that if we are willing to give you the ideology about the system and surrounding, so system is defined as anything which is having certain amount of matter and also enclosed by a surface is called system, whereas surrounding is everything, whatever be the thing, everything which is just outside of the system is called as surrounding. And also we can also give rise that the combination of system and surrounding is known as, here I am writing something, that the combination of system and surrounding, is called universe. So if someone may ask with you that what do you mean by the universe, then you can easily give a definition that the combination of system and surrounding is called universe. Okay students, so hopefully you are getting what I am delivering here. So now we are turning toward the next topic, that is the isolated system. Okay, what do you mean by the isolated system? So here isolated system. Isolated means something which is separate. So what do you mean by system? Also we have learned system means that anything which consists n number of the and means different number of the objects. Okay, so what do you mean by the isolated system? Any surrounding, or if a surrounding of a system does not have any effect of the system, then it is said to be the isolated system. It means that here what I am going to write, if the surrounding of the system, if the surrounding means outside part of the system, if the surrounding of a system, if a surrounding of a system do not have any effect on the system, it means that that system is unaffected by the surrounding. It means that here what I am going to state, if a surrounding of a system do not have any effect on system, is called that type of the system is called isolated system. Okay students, so with the help of an example I am going to give you a glance. Let us suppose that if we are having a vessel, here I am drawing a container into which some amount of fluid is filled. Here some amount of fluid is filled inside of this container. Okay, so here this fluid is contained by this container. So something which is having some certain amount of the fluid or part of matter is called system. So here this container will be considered as system. It will be considered as system, whereas anything which is outside of this container will be considered as surrounding. Let us suppose here we have applied a burner with which we are supplying some amount of energy. This is burner and this is just outside of the system, so it is surrounding. Okay, so if this vessel is unaffected with the production of the heat supplied with the help of burner, then this system is said to be the isolated system. It means that whatever be the fluid or whatever be the matter is kept here is unaffected with the surrounding. It means that any system which is unaffected by the surrounding is said to be the isolated system. So now we are turning toward the thermodynamic system. What do you mean by the thermodynamic system? Thermo and dynamics. What do you mean by the thermodynamics? Now let's start with the thermodynamic system. Student, as we are named that system is nothing but that is an arrangement of the n number of the particles, and thermo means something which is related with the heat, and dynamics means that is a transferring of the heat energy. So a system, the state of which any instant can be completely defined, the pressure, volume and temperature. It means that at any instant, if we can define the pressure, volume and temperature of that system, that type of the system is said to be the thermodynamic system. So how we can define thermodynamic system? A system for which at any instant pressure, volume and temperature can be defined is called thermodynamic thermodynamic system. Okay student, it means that for any system, if we can describe about the pressure, volume and temperature for any particular instant, then we can say that such type of the system is said to be the thermodynamic system. And also there is a basic term. What do you mean by the thermodynamic variables? What do you mean by the thermodynamic variable? So what do you mean by the thermodynamic variables? So as we are knowing that with the help of ideal gas equation, PV is equals to nRT, okay, where P is known as pressure, V is known as volume, R is gas constant, T is time, and N is the number of moles of the fluid taken. So students, here pressure, volume and temperature are the thermodynamic variables. So for a fluid, for a particular matter, either we can vary the pressure, we can vary the, what I have said that for any thermodynamic system we can vary the amount of pressure, the amount of volume and the amount of temperature. So pressure, volume and temperature are said to be considered to be thermodynamic variables. Okay student, so these are the thermodynamic variables. So without wasting the time, we are turning towards the basic terms for the concept of temperature, or which is also known as zeroth law of the thermodynamics. So let's start with the zeroth law of thermodynamics. That thermodynamics means that is the transformation of the heat energy from one terminal to the another terminal. Okay student, so students, what do you mean by the zeroth law of the thermodynamics? So let us suppose a system. Let us suppose if we are having the three bodies. So this is the first body A, okay, this is the second body B, okay students, and the third body is C. Let us suppose that if we are having the three bodies A, B and C, okay, when this body having the temperature T1, this body is having the temperature T2, and this body is having the temperature T3. Okay students, what I have said here, that let us suppose that if we are having a system in which A, B and C are three bodies are taken whose temperature is T1, T2 and T3. Students, now all these three bodies kept in contact. Now A, B and C are kept in contact with each other. Okay students, so what we will find out? That if A is in equilibrium with body C and B is also in equilibrium with body C. What does mean that the equilibrium? Equilibrium means that thermal equilibrium means that the amount of temperature, pressure and volume, all the thermodynamic variable for these two systems are equal. Means, as I have said that PV is equals to nRT. So what are the thermodynamic variable? Pressure, volume and temperature. If the pressure, volume and temperature is constant for the two system is said to be the thermodynamic variables, or this is the thermal equilibrium. So students, if we are having the three bodies A, B, C, and if body A is in the thermal equilibrium with body C and also B is in the thermal equilibrium with body C, then we can say that body A and B is also in thermal equilibrium when they are kept in contact. Okay students, so how we can define the zeroth law of the thermodynamics? So zeroth law of the thermodynamics state that, and it is also the fundamental law, the base law of this thermodynamics. So this law states that, how we can define the statement for this law is, this law states that if two bodies A and B, A and B are in thermal equilibrium, are in thermal equilibrium means that the pressure, volume and temperature is constant for both the system. So this law states that if the two bodies A and B are in thermal equilibrium with a third body that is C, then body A and B are in thermal equilibrium with each other. Okay students, so if we are having the three bodies A, B and C, if we suppose that a body A is in thermal equilibrium with C and also the body B is in thermal equilibrium with C, then we can say that body A and B are in the thermal equilibrium with each other. It means that the temperature T1 should be equals to T2. If we get such type of the condition for the two systems, then we can say that these two bodies are in the thermal equilibrium. Okay students, now we are turning towards the work and heat equivalence. What do you mean by the work and heat? As we are knowing that work done is also a form of energy. Okay students, so here I am writing equivalence of work and heat. What do you mean by the equivalence of work and heat? It means that we have to establish a relationship between the work and heat. Students, as we are knowing that work is also a form of energy, also heat is also a form of energy. Okay, what I am willing to say that work and energy, or work and heat both are forms of energy. Okay students, what I am willing to say one by one, that work is also a form of energy and heat is also a form of energy. So how we can define or how we can establish a relationship between the work and energy or work and heat energy, that 1 kilocalorie. Students, as we are knowing that heat energy is measured in calorie, so one and biggest unit will be kilocalorie. So 1 kilocalorie of heat energy is equals to 4.18 into 10 to the power 3 joule. It means that heat energy of 1 kilocalorie is equals to 4.18 into 10 power 3 joule of work done. Okay students, because kilocalorie is the unit of heat energy, whereas joule is the unit of work done. So how we can define? And 1 calorie is equals to, so from here we can write that 1 calorie, okay, 1 kilocalorie is the biggest unit, so 1 calorie is equals to 4.18 joule. Okay students, okay, and also we can write that the W is equals to, W means work done, is equals to 4.18 into Q. Okay students, so this is the mechanical equivalence of the heat. This is the mechanical equivalence of heat. Okay students, so now we are turning toward the next topic. What do you mean by the heat, work and internal energy of a system? A student, heat is nothing but that is a transfer of energy from one place to the another place, or one terminal to the other terminal, when one terminal is heated and the other terminal is colder. whereas burden is nothing but that is some amount of energy, the amount of energy which does not depends upon the temperature of the two bodies. Okay, so here I am going to define what do you mean by work and what do you mean by heat. So heat can be defined as, heat is nothing but that is a heat is a form of energy. Heat is a form of energy which transfers from one end to the to the another end to the another end. It means that is from hotter to cold end. Okay students, it means that heat can be defined as it is a form of energy which transfers from one end to the another end, that is from the hotter end to the colder end. Okay, so here it means that heat is also a form of energy which depends upon the temperature of the body, whereas burden, now I am going to give you the glance about the burden and how both can be differentiated with each other. So heat is nothing but that is also a form of energy. Work is also a form of energy. From here we can write that work is also a form of energy, a form of energy, but it is independent of the temperature, independent of the temperature of the body. Okay students, in context of burden, there is no requirement of the measurement of the temperature of the bodies, but if we are willing to give the description about the heat, we must know that what is the temperature of these two bodies or two different terminals. Okay students, and what do you mean by the internal energy of a system? Internal energy means energy which is generated due to the collision of the particle internally. So children, now we are going to learn how we can give the sign convention for a heat. Okay students, so the first condition to give the sign convention for a process, that when a heat, here I am writing first then I will elaborate. When heat is given, when the amount of heat is given from a system to its surrounding. What does it mean students? It means that the amount of heat energy is dissipating by the system to the surrounding, then in this condition, then the heat is taken with negative sign convention, with negative sign. Okay students, how we can give rise heat as a negative? When some amount of heat energy is dissipated by the system to its surrounding. In this condition, some amount of heat energy is dissipated to the system, means some amount of heat energy becomes lost. So we can give rise the heat energy as a negative sign convention. Whereas in the next condition, with the help of the next condition, we can give when heat is taken from the surrounding by the system. Now some amount of heat energy is going to be absorbed by the system from the surrounding. When heat is taken from the surrounding, from the surrounding by the system some amount of heat energy is taken, means absorbed by the system. From where? From surrounding. Then in this condition the heat is given as heat is taken with positive sign convention. Student, positive sign. So whenever some amount of heat energy is absorbed, we will give rise the heat as a positive sign convention, and wherever some amount of energy is dissipated by the system to the surrounding is given as a negative sign convention. Okay students, so in this way we can give rise the sign conventions to the heat energy. Now students, we have to learn how we can calculate, or one more thing is that which I am willing to share with you, that some note point, some of the points which we must have to know that with the help of note. So the first point is that as we are knowing that Worden is equals to, since we are knowing that Worden is equals to pressure into volume in case of expansion or contraction of the gas or any fluid. So if the volume, if I am going to write here, if volume of the gas, is increases from, if the volume of the gas increases from volume V1 to V2. Now let us suppose that if a container consisting some amount of gas, that is V1, okay, that is amount of volume, that is V1. Now it is increased by the amount, that is V2. Then work done in this condition, work done can be expressed as, how we can give the expression for work done in this condition when the volume is expanding. So this will be dW. For the small work done, it is dW. If we are willing to calculate the total work done, it will be integrate, will give as the total work done by the system or on the system will be equals to integration from where to where, V1 to V2, volume changing. Here the change in the volume takes place from the V1 to V2 and P into dV. Okay students, so if we are knowing, and from on integrating, as we are knowing that if pressure is a constant in terms of S in comparison to volume, then in this condition we will write that 1 into dV, and which will be integrated from V1 to V2, and it will give rise like P V2 minus V1. Students, if we are willing to calculate the total amount of work done when a body expands, expand means that its volume was initially V1 and now its volume becomes V2. In this condition, how much amount of the work done takes place? Then with the help of this expression we can easily calculate that what will be its work done. Okay students, by keeping pressure as a constant. So this is the, what we can write, that this is the expression of work done. This is the expression of work done of the gas by keeping pressure as constant. Here pressure is constant, there is no change in the pressure takes place while the expansion of this gaseous state. Okay students, so now we have to learn what do you mean by the first law of thermodynamics. So with the help of the examples we will learn, and one by one we will discuss what is the first law of the thermodynamics and how we can give as its statement. So here I am going to write the first law of the thermodynamics, because earlier we have learned about the zeroth law of the thermodynamics. So now we are going to discuss about the first law of thermodynamics. What do you mean by the thermodynamics? Thermodynamics is that branch in which we are dealing with the what dynamic property of the heat, means thermal energy. So what do you mean by the thermodynamics? This law states that what is the statement of this law? This law states that the amount of heat energy supplied to a system is partly or partially used for increase in what? Its internal energy and partially used for amount of burden. Okay students, so what do you mean by the first law of the thermodynamics and how you can define the first law of the thermodynamics? Students, we can define that whatever be the amount of energy supplied to the system, let us suppose that capital Q is the amount of heat energy supplied to the system, is partially used for increase in the internal energy of the system, and also some energy is going to be used to do some burden. Okay students, so if we are willing to calculate how much amount of the increment in the internal energy takes place, then we can easily calculate that the increase in internal energy of the gas or any fluid will be equals to, if we are knowing that how much amount of the heat energy is supplied to the system and how much amount of burden takes place, then we can easily calculate that we can calculate that the amount of increment in the internal energy of a system. Okay student, so this is the first law of the thermodynamics. So if someone may ask that what do you mean by the first law of thermodynamics and what may be the statement of the first law of the thermodynamics, then students, we can say that if the amount of heat energy supplied to a system is partially used for increase in its internal energy and partially used in the amount of burden, means if we are knowing that the internal energy of a system and amount of burden by the system, then if we sum up both the quantities, we will get that the total amount of heat energy possessed by a system, and this is known as the first law of the thermodynamics. Okay students, if someone says that sir, if this burden is very small, okay, so if it is very infinitesimally small energy, let an infinitesimally a small amount of heat energy, that is Q, that is dQ. If it is small, that is dQ, is supplied to the system, then du means a small amount of change in internal energy, then du represents represents a small change in internal energy and dW will represent amount of burden. So students, amount of burden. So students, if we are willing to calculate in this condition amount of change in internal energy, then du can be written as, that will be dq minus dw. So whatever be the amount of heat energy is given to the system and whatever be the amount of heat energy is used for the work done, if we take the difference, we will calculate that the amount of work done by the system. Okay students, so this is the amount of heat energy is always taken in calorie. So what are the basic applications of the first law of the thermodynamics? Yes, students, as we have discussed here that the first law of the thermodynamic system, first law of the thermodynamics states that whatever be the amount of heat energy supplied to the system is partially used for increased internal energy and also used for the work done. So here there are the three thermodynamic variables as a pressure, volume and temperature are the three thermodynamic variables. So by keeping one's pressure as a constant, we will get the isobaric process. Once by putting volume as a constant, we will get the isochoric process. By putting temperature as a constant, we will get isothermal process, and by keeping heat energy as a constant, we will get the adiabatic process. So now we are going to discuss about the cyclic process and what do you mean by the non-cyclic process, and on the behalf of those we will discuss about the different applications of the first law of the thermodynamics. So right now I am going to give you the glance about the applications of the first law of the thermodynamics. So here I am writing applications of first law of thermodynamics. Essence, what may be the first application for the first law of the thermodynamics? So before going to state about the applications of the first law of the thermodynamics, we must have to know about the cyclic process. What do you mean by the cyclic process? What type of the process is said to be the cyclic process? When a system is taken from initial state to the other different state and final brought back to the initial state, then such type of the process is said to be the cyclic process. How we can define cyclic process? So now I am going to give you the glance. What do you mean by the cyclic process? When a system is taken from one initial state to the another state, when a system is taken from one initial state to another state. What I have written here, students, I have written here, when a system is taken from one initial state to the other different state or any other state and finally brought back to its initial state, what does it mean, students? Students, I have said that when a system is taken from one initial state to, let us suppose the initial state was A. Now this fluid is now going to be changed in the second state, that is B, reaches to the state B, and after certain duration of time it again retraces its path and now finally it reaches to A. So when a system is taken from one initial state to the another different state and finally brought back to its initial state, then such type of the process of the process is known as cyclic process. Students, such type of the process is termed as the cyclic process. Okay, so it means that here initial and final positions will be equal, means there is no change in the internal energy takes place. In this condition, if there is no change in the internal energy takes place, what I have said here, in this condition, if the initial and final stages will be same, means u1 and u2 becomes equal. When u1 and u2 becomes equal, then the change in the internal energy becomes 0. There will be no change in internal energy. So from the first law of the thermodynamics, that change in internal energy is equals to amount of heat energy supplied to the system and amount of the burden by the system. Here internal energy becomes 0, then Q minus V is equals to 0. So from here what we can conclude, that whatever be the amount of heat energy is supplied to the system, whatever be the amount of heat energy will be supplied to the system will be totally consumed in the amount of burden by the system. Okay students, so hence in the cyclic process what we can conclude from here, hence in cyclic process total amount of heat supplied to the system gets consumed in burden. Means there will be no change in the internal energy of the system. So on the behalf of this, we can also, now we are going to describe what do you mean by the isobaric process, what do you mean by the isochoric process, what do you mean by the adiabatic process, and what do you mean by the isothermal process, because these are the 4 applications of the first law of the thermodynamics. So first of all we will discuss about the isobaric process. So students, our first application is isobaric process. What do you mean by the isobaric process? It means that a system which can neither, हम क्या कह सकते हैं for isobaric process, a process taking place at constant pressure, a process which takes place by keeping pressure as constant. As we are knowing that there are 3 thermodynamic variables: pressure, volume and temperature. So now in this condition what we are going to do, we are going to keep pressure as constant. Here there will be no change in the pressure when it takes place. So in this condition, as we are knowing that the burden is equals to, how we can calculate, work done is equals to P into delta V or dV. P into dV. Students, now let us suppose that change in the volume takes place from V1 to V2. Change in the volume takes place from V1 to V2. Okay, change in this is the amount of work done. So how we can give rise the internal energy of the system? Okay students, so we can write from here, we can give the that for the isobaric process, then the internal energy of the system will be equals to, as according to the first law of the thermodynamics, that du is equals to q minus dw, and from here we can write that q will be q, and for w it will be p v1 minus v2. There will be no change in the pressure takes place, will be the expression for the isobaric process. It means that when a process which takes place by keeping pressure as a constant. Okay students, so by keeping pressure as a constant we can calculate a process. That process is said to be the isobaric process. So children, now we are going to discuss about the isochoric process. Earlier we have discussed about the isobaric process, a process which takes place by keeping the pressure as constant. So now if a process can be achieved by keeping volume of the system as constant. Okay students, so what I am going to say, if a process takes place by keeping volume of the system as constant, it means that there will be no change in the volume takes place. If a process takes place by keeping volume of the system as constant is called, then such type of the system is called isochoric. Isochoric means that is the volume will be remain unchanged, isochoric process. Okay students, so this will be the isochoric process. And now how we can give rise, since according to the first law of the thermodynamics, by first law of thermodynamics, that what, change in internal energy is equals to the amount of heat energy supplied minus amount of the work done. Here there is no change in the volume, since we are knowing that W is equals to P into dV. No change in volume. Since change in volume is 0, it means that whatever be the amount of heat energy supplied to the system will be used for the work done. Okay students, so this is known as the isochoric process. It means that in isochoric process, entire heat energy given to the system is used to increase its internal energy. Okay, so now what do you mean by the isothermal process? The next topic is isothermal process. Iso means equal and thermal means that the temperature. Isothermal process. What do you mean by the isothermal process and how you can define it? Okay students, a process which takes place, okay, if during a process taking place in a system the temperature remain unchanged. If a process takes place by keeping temperature of the system as constant. Okay students, constant is called isothermal process. Students, here I am giving you the elaboration about the isothermal process. Isothermal process is a process in which the thermodynamic variable temperature is going to be constant. There is no change in the heat energy. It means that, again from first law of the thermodynamics, that change in internal energy is equal to amount of heat energy supplied to the system minus difference of the heat energy to the work done. Now there is no change in the temperature takes place. It means that the initial and final condition both are same, means no change in internal energy takes place, means here delta U becomes 0. In this condition we can write that the Q becomes W. So this is the isothermal process. Students, if someone may ask that what do you mean by the isothermal process, then we can write a process which takes place by keeping temperature of the system as constant is called isothermal process. When there is no change in the heat energy given to the system, means there is no heat energy, but no change in temperature takes place, it means that the internal energy becomes unchanged, no change, so it will become 0. So whatever be the amount of heat energy supplied to the system will be totally used for the work done by the system is known as the isothermal process. Now the last part is that what do you mean by the adiabatic process? What do you mean by the adiabatic process and how we can define it? This is the last topic of this chapter. Adiabatic process is that process or a process which takes place neither the system, what I am writing, if during a process, means while a process takes place, during a process taking place in a system, heat neither enters nor leaves. It means that is heat energy becomes constant, no change in the heat energy. Students, what I have elaborated here, if during a process taking place in a system, heat energy neither enters nor leaves, means no amount of heat energy is exchanging from the surrounding to the system, is called adiabatic process. Such type of the process said to be the adiabatic process. In this condition, delta U again from the first law of the thermodynamics, du is equals to Q minus W. Okay, if there is no change in the heat energy, means that is Q becomes 0. So amount of change in or increase in internal energy will be exactly equals to the work done. Okay student, and here with negative sign, so means U is equals to minus of W. Okay, so if in an adiabatic process, if in adiabatic process work done on the system, if work done on the system takes place, on the system, then W means work done on the system, means work done is negative. Here the work done will be negative, and when the work done will be negative, it means that change in the internal energy will become as a positive. Okay students, so internal energy of the system increases when work is done by the system. So these were the 4 applications of the first law of the thermodynamics. So hopefully you all have got the points which I have elaborated here. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.